Hi, Anna. So thank you for being patient for me to get back to you. We use Canvas, so I just want to give you kind of a tour, and then I'll be attaching these videos so you can kind of see what we do. We have a bunch of different co-ops that we're using right now, and the teachers are using Ventures Transitions at all levels. We have something called a blueprint course, and then we have community resources and diversity. So I'll just give you an idea. Um, of what that looks like. This is 11.5C. And so the students will see the modules and they'll see the examples. So it really depends on what you set up. Talk about, we use Burlington and we use North Star. So if there's a culture lesson, students would click into that and there would be a little video and then they would set up some symbols that represent culture, and it could be a flag or it could be like a special dress, cultural headwear, different things like that. Um, the teacher would take maybe a week about this, right? So it really depends on your pacing calendar. And I always give the teacher a pacing guide. So I would spell out exactly what would be in the calendar using the LMS system. But if you don't use, so we have an actual really clear guidelines for the teachers, what they should be working on that day with leeway, right? I mean, it all depends on the students you have in the room. So if it takes a teacher longer to do that, then they take longer. But I give them a pacing guide. I don't leave it up to the teacher because they really need some strict parameters, not really like daily, but they need to know what they need to get through in a month, right? Cultural is learning. So there's a Burlington lesson, goes right into the Burlington login, and the teachers give them a lesson on that. So we knit those in. So the Burlington lesson itself could take 2 hours, right? The lesson two is like interview prep, and it's step by step using a Venn diagram. Okay, comparing two countries using a Venn diagram. This might take a whole lesson, if you a whole language time. So it really depends on your pacing guide, the time you have, the instructional minutes you're working on, how many times a week they come. And then I would kind of backward plan based on the work we have. So we have week one, week two, week three, and it's kind of going over a 6 week course. And then there's a co-op with student presentations and the oral assignment, how we're grading them, different things like that. So yeah, we actually really embed all of our technology as well. So there'll be like a student sample presentation. At the end, the students are meant to learn a little bit of how to make slides, and they stand up, depending on their level, they'll stand up in front of the class and talk about their um, uh, culture. So this is really tailored to California. And they make a slide presentation, and then they practice their oral and speaking and technology skills in front of the class and still practicing the co-op. So that's a diversity co-op. I think you specifically asked me about the 7.3.1 with technology. So I'd like to take you to that. So our 7.3.1, usually what we do in the syllabus is we have this downloaded from the CASAS, where it'll have the tasks and all the language objectives there. Task one, task two, I think there's three here. Create a writing project about computer technology. And so it has everything they need here. Once we go into the modules, there's lesson one. And there's a structure, right? There's scope and sequence. There's a digital computer library lesson where you click on that. And this takes you right into North Star and using these different mediums step by step. So what does that look like necessarily? We have videos that walk them through that. There's a North Star teacher's guide. So there is actual curriculum for teachers here. I wouldn't publish this for the students. really up, it's how you use the LMS. And so it's really step by step. It has FAQs, it's very detailed, very laid out. It has the literacy standards and the assessments are here. It has the frequently answered questions. The thing about this teaching guide and this curriculum is you don't need to use North Star's medium per se. It actually gives you some ideas of what you would do as a teacher in the room. So how I would teach 7.3.1, what that looks like. Sample agenda for virtual meeting. It really depends on your school. If you're meeting face to face or you're meeting remotely or you're in a blended model, it's really up to you. So this is really how you would plan the lesson. It's really important. A lot of this information this is like for teacher training. We kind of talk about that with the teachers, but it's a really good starting point for you if you're just crafting this for your teachers. The scope and sequence is really like step by step of how I would craft and backward map my day. And this kind of talks about the skills that they're using, the vocabulary we're using, the breakdown in the lessons. And these are hyperlinked to the scope and sequence and giving them all of that computer language. So if they're also learning ESL, but they're also learning computer language, this can be really hard. But these hyperlink to all of the lessons as well. And then there's a test in here. So that's in the module, and then it takes you right into devices and computer logon. So the good thing about this is that this PDF is really for the teachers. Obviously, it gives them step-by-step the concepts, and then there's also the worksheets for the students that they're going to be using, and they should have like computers in the room. If you have that, that's great. There's a warm up. It follows the WIPIA warm up, present, practice, produce, where the students are applying at the end. And so you'll see I do, we do, you do, all throughout the wrap up is taken out the door. Okay, you can copy this on the board. It shows you exactly what to do. And the difference is that this is a PDF, so it's a little bit hard to hyper, but they should be able to dialogue out what all these are. So even if it's an IET class and you're teaching the vocabulary to ESL students in a computer application course, you're going to want to use these realia, these pictures, so that they're able to understand talking about that. And so it's step by step. Using the LMS, we have all of these digitized for teachers so that every week the lesson up here, and we incorporate the workforce readiness skills with the digitized technology skills. So if they're writing a resume or a cover letter or a slide deck, that's part of one of the tasks that they need to do. So if they're doing it in lesson 3, they're already completing it at the end with their final copy. I know that's a lot. So there's a lot of there's Oxford Picture Dictionary that we're lucky enough to have. Oxford Picture Dictionary, we pull some resources about some ESL where they're talking about how to use this and how there's an extra reading about computer skills and energy and the importance of learning computer skills and how it will affect the earth in the future. So OPD is Oxford Picture Dictionary. And then we also have Burlington embedded. So there's 3 different types of digital libraries in here. North Star, Burlington, and Oxford Picture Dictionary all together. So in addition to this video, taking you a walk around our LMS, I'll send you all of the PDFs of our North Star lessons that we've adapted. So it's become our product. So you can feel free to take it, adapt it, change it. But I recommend, I don't know your school calendar when you start and stop class. And if you're on a 6-week, 9-week, 12-week, I don't know how you're doing it, but that's how I would backward map first, how fast you're getting through the hours of the COAPPs. And then I would cobble together the lessons. There's more than enough information and websites out there to kind of brainstorm and backward map that. All right. So I hope this helps. I'm sorry it took me a few days to get back. A little crazy. Have a great day. Bye.